Yeah, it says we're live.
Brilliant. Hello, hello. If you are here, please give us a heart. We want all your love and nothing else. I have the awesome opportunity to be here today with the amazingly successful Sarah. And she has kindly given us her time to talk about property and her property journey with all the adventure that she went through. Thank you for being here, Sarah.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
Would you like to tell us about your property journey? Would you prefer me to ask you questions, or you're happy to...
I'm happy to just intro myself if you want me to, and then you can fire whatever questions you've got, and any questions at all, I'm happy to answer. So I got started in property in 2015. At the time, I think you could say I was financially and emotionally buckled, is probably the best way to explain it. I was about £60,000 in debt. Life wasn't particularly fun. It was all pretty much self-inflicted though. I was buying things on credit cards when I couldn't afford it. I was trying to run a business that I didn't know what I was doing. I was making all the mistakes you could possibly make, and I needed to do something different. And so I'd heard about this thing called rent to rent, and I just thought, you know what, let's give this a whirl and see what happens. So I in November 2015, I made my first phone call. 23rd of December 2015, I signed my first contract, and I've kind of never looked back from there really. I started with rent to rent as my main strategy. I then evolved that into deal packaging, and I built portfolios for other people. In my first 12 months of doing that, I built 100 grand, and everything kind of changed for me at that point. I cleared my debt in 23 months from the day I started. My first contract took me 23 months, and the 60 grand had been paid down. I'd sold my failing business that I'd had. Life was a very different thing. And then I went traveling, I built the business, and now the business is much bigger. We've got a team of people now. We're based in Milton. Our head office is in Milton Keynes. I live in Northamptonshire. I'm a buy-to-let portfolio in my own right now. I've got HMOs, service accommodation, rent to rent, and we're just moving into our first development. And I've also now diversified my portfolio. So we've got an investment fund, and I lend. So there's all sorts going on in my world, but ultimately it all started from a place of having nothing and having no idea what to do about it, asking for the help where I needed it, being brave, making decisions that were super uncomfortable, and it kind of just went from there.
Money Tree is, it came from my desire of helping women, because a year just before you were all in travel and the death was massive in 2014, I was going through cancer treatment. I was homeless with my 3 children. Debt was keep mounting up, and I would have really liked to find a woman, especially, to hold my hand and say, it's okay, I'll show you how on earth to get out of this debt. It's okay, I'll show you how to make your money, even regardless how small your money are, to grow them and to make more money. So this is why I've started Money Tree. And it's also because of a joke. I come originally from Romania, and they say, yeah, sure, you think money growing tree. I moved to England, they say the same thing. I married a Punjabi man. My husband is from India. They say the same. And I'm like, I'm so growing my money tree, because you can. And would be lovely if you could tell us a few things. Your rent to rent started with zero money, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, less than zero money. So what's really interesting about this is I get asked a lot, how much money do I need to do my first deal? And I want to be crystal clear with people that it's actually very difficult to do your first deal with no money at all. Somewhere, someone has to pay some money, whether it's your first month's rent, your furniture, these sorts of, a deposit if you've not negotiated deposit free. There needs to be some money. It doesn't have to be your money, but there needs to be some most of the time. My first deal, I didn't really know this, and I had none. And so for me, it wasn't a matter of how can I do this with no money? It was how can I just do this? And the deal that I wasn't negotiated. The reason why the reason I was able to start it was because I just told him that I needed 4 weeks rent free, and I told him that we didn't pay deposits, and I had to find £900 for the furniture. It was actually a flat, so it was already built to fire eggs. It already had all the sprinkler systems. It had all of that. So I kind of landed on my feet a little bit from a conversion perspective, but I didn't have a rent to pay, and I didn't have a deposit to pay. So I just told him we didn't pay them, and he said yes. And the £900 for my furniture, I did a series of car boot sales on Sunday mornings for like 3 weeks. And I just sold everything I fucking owned and everything I didn't need. I found 900 quid and muddled it together, and I put it into furniture. And that was my first deal. So people talk a lot about like no money and doing deals with no money. I want to be really crystal clear that it's very difficult to do it with no money from somewhere. You can do it with really little money, or you can do it with someone else's money. But somewhere you're going to need to like buy a bed or something like that. You're going to need to do something.
Brilliant. This is really helpful. I never believed on these zero money things, because I'm the kind of person who I wouldn't necessarily take the money from my friend to invest them if I didn't quite know what I'm doing. So my risk is I'm really careful when I'm taking risks, and this can be seen in my property journey if you want, because I buy under 50% to make sure that even if I don't necessarily have the best financial knowledge, I make sure that there is still room there for mistakes and for going further. I absolutely love the story, what you're saying. So you said to the landlord, I don't have any money, don't expect any deposit, you want me or no? And he said yes. I think it's brilliant.
I think there's also a confidence thing with this, right? Because I knew what I needed, which was to not pay it. I just told him that that's how we worked. I think quite often with a lot of the clients that I work with, they say, well, how do I say that I need 4 weeks rent free? And I say, well, we don't position it as we're asking for a favor. We tell him that the process is this. On day one, once we've signed contracts, you'll give us 4 weeks access for deliveries and for us to dress the property. During that period of time, I obviously can't let it out, so I can't pay you. But during that period of time, what we will be doing is cleaning it, adding value to your asset, looking after it, fixing any of the minor issues, making sure we get our photography done, etc. And then I'm ready to do viewings, ready to let it out from 32 days in. When you position it like that, you're not asking for a favor, you're not asking for rent free. What you're saying is, this is the process, and this is what we're going to do, and this is why it's a benefit to you. And if I handled it like that, and I think that makes quite a big difference in saying, please can I not pay you rent? Nobody's going to say yes to that. But the way we work is this: I'm going to sign the contracts today. We need 4 weeks where we need access for deliveries, etc., to dress it, to get our cleaners in, for the photography to be done. And then what we do is you start using it from day 32. And actually, generally landlords are investors, they're business people, they understand that there's got to be money to pay money out. So when you position it with the business case of it, rather than the please can I have, it's a totally different conversation, and it makes a massive difference to the results.
Do you find that in your property journey, there were things that were there ready for you rather than, so I work very much from a female energy, and with my tiny property journey, like 6 months now in, I found that these houses went on the market specifically for me to find them and buy them. I'm like, there isn't even a need to make an effort to find the right one, because the right one comes to you. Do you believe in these kind of things?
So I believe that things work out exactly as they're meant to. And there's been a lot of things that have happened in my life, not just in business, but in my real life, that at the time I couldn't understand why those things were happening to me or around me or whatever. And it took a long time for me to realize that actually stuff really does work out exactly as it's meant to. Even if you have to go through some painful shit to get to a different stage, everything that's happening around you is serving you in some way, shape or form. Even if in the moment it's dark and it's horrible and it's painful and you don't understand it, everything works out as it's meant to. And so I believe that if you go online and look for negativity, that's what you'll find. If you go online and look for positivity, that's what you'll find. If you convince yourself that there's no deals out there, that's what you'll find. If you tell yourself there's deals out there, that's what you'll find. And so, you know, what is it they say that it's something to do with energy. Hold on, I can't think of the saying now. I can't think of what the actual saying is, but basically wherever you put energy is where your results will come. So if your inner narrative is convincing yourself that there's no deals, then there won't be any. But like you've just said, I find that actually I go and I see and I find the perfect deal. Well, that's because you've already decided that that's what's happening. And so controlling your inner narrative removes all the anxiety around it. It removes all the question marks. You just channel your energy into this is what's going to happen today. And that's what happens.
Indeed. I do say to the ladies, manage your money daily if possible, twice daily, 3 times. Because if you put energy, if you put the energy into your money, then they grow. They literally grow. I don't know how they grow, because there are all sorts of opportunities starting to come to you simply because you put the energy there. It's like having a relationship with a person. You see them a bit more for coffee, or you message them a bit more. There's a little bit more happening there. And if you don't do it for a year, then it goes a bit flat. So
absolutely. I think managing money daily is something that's changed in me since the first business that I had and the business I have now. The me when I had debt and the me now it's such an important difference. So like with the businesses, obviously I've got lots of different business accounts and stuff now. Every single pound that comes into the business is treated the same way. So 20% goes in a bank account every day. Money comes in, 20% goes in for corporation tax, 20% goes for VAT, 20% goes to profit, and I run the business on 40%. That's it. It's a non-negotiable for me. What it means is that I've always met a 20% minimum threshold for net profit. And I also know that I never get this conversation of, I've got a big VAT bill that I can't afford, or, oh, I've got a big tax bill, so I can't go on that holiday or do that thing or whatever it is. If you manage your money every day, like Anka's saying, it's such a good technique. And even if you only have £10 come in, manage that £10, get into the habit of doing it every single day. Enjoy your money, enjoy seeing it growing, enjoy I have a pot as well that's like my play fund. I call it my Bond Street smash up fund, which is every year I go and I just blow a load of money on Bond Street, right? And it's my rewards for working hard for the year. And I've got 2 friends as well that come with me to do that, and we just go, we've all got businesses and we're all doing really cool stuff. So it's such a nice way to reward yourself for doing a good job. And I think it's a really good lesson for you guys to take away from Anka and what she's saying is manage your money.
Tell us more about Cogito Wealth. Okay, you're in property, but it's not Cogito Property, it's Cogito Wealth.
Correct. So Cogito Wealth is my education company. So so 2017, so a couple of years after I started my property business, I was getting lots of questions about, could I help people? Could I show people what to do? Could they pick my brains? Could they take me for coffee? Could they buy me lunch? All this sort of stuff. And there was a period where it was July 2017. I went from billing every month. And in July 2017, I didn't bill any money for me. And my mentor sat me down and said, what's going on? It's not like you to not invoice money. What's happening? And I said, well, I spent the whole month working on other people's businesses because everyone wanted me to go for coffee and also, and I feel like I'm drowning. I've got no time. And he said, well, you've got 2 choices. Either you stop helping or you have to start charging for your time. And I was like, well, I don't want to stop helping, but I also need to value my own boundaries and value my own time and stuff like that. So I started charging for my time. And Cogito Wealth was born out of that, and it's the education company that I own alongside my property group that helps people to develop businesses, whether it's property businesses. I also work with people wanting to launch coaching businesses. I've got an investment fund as well that sits people that want to invest money passively, that just sits and kind of builds over time. And everything we do is about empowering people to have the confidence to go out and fight for a life that they want. I'm never going to tell you that it's easy, right? Running a business, it's hard. It's savage at times, like it's horrendous at times. But the results when you get them feel incredible. And so the whole ethos of the business is to help people think differently about creating wealth and inspire and motivate and drive them to believe that they can do it.
So if someone wants to train with you, so I've been into your challenge, Become More Visible for Investors, which really challenged me actually. And I found so much value in your challenge and in your VIP session. It was absolutely amazing. And from there, I went on. And last week, when we were talking about the property, we just had a chat. We had our first property chat in the group. And the lady said, okay, so who would you train with? And I said, I've trained with a couple of men. One of them was Neil Stewart, the one who helped us with our first auction property and so on. And I said, if I was to train again in the property, I would probably not choose a man as a coach. I will definitely choose women, and I would most likely go for Sarah, simply because just spending time with her in a free challenge, it opened my mind so much. And my mindset is quite good usually, but coming along on your journey was like, wow, okay, brilliant. This is next level. So if we were to come and train with you in Cogito, that would be property only, or?
No, so Cogito as a business helps people with different types of businesses. We have an online membership, which is our equivalent of what you would call a mastermind in most education companies. But this might be controversial, but I think if you've got £30,000, you shouldn't spend it on training. I think if you've got £30,000, you should go and buy a house with it, right? And maybe as a trainer.
This is why you should train with Sarah. Right? This is why you should train. Because if you go to someone else, they go, oh, you have £30,000. Oh, I've got a coaching, I've got an education program.
I'm more of it.
It's like, you're here for me to help you make money. That's it.
Absolutely, right? So we have we have a membership that you join for 12 months, and it's like £2,500 for the year, and you get direct access to me and my team every day. And you get all our resources, all the documents we use, all the trainings that we do. I believe it's the best value for money training that there is in the market around property.
I agree.
I'm going to say that because obviously
I haven't trained. I'm not an affiliate, but I agree. The value that I saw in there, compared with what I've paid so far, it's absolutely outstanding.
I think that a lot of my clients come to me after they've spent 30 grand with this company and another 10 here and this, that, and the other. And they come to me, and it's actually not that their education wasn't good knowledge, but it's the accountability and the implementation that's missing from a lot of these things. And my number one job is to get you to do the work. That's my responsibility, is to make sure I'm nudging you down the road to get you to do the work, even if you feel uncomfortable, even if you're frightened, to make sure you realize there's a safety net supporting you to grow your business, right? So the strategy hub, the Cogito Wealth strategy hub, that's the property piece. And there's myself, there's 7 coaches that help to grow members' businesses, whether it's developments. We've got a development coach in there, we've got a rent-to-rent coach in there, we've got a service accommodation coach in there, we've got a mindset coach in there, we've got somebody that does like fitness routine, journaling, like self-care, this sort of stuff, because the human being behind the business is as important as the business. And so there's a lot that we do there as well. And the strategy hub, if people want to join the strategy hub, they absolutely can. We do an intake. We're doing an intake later in the year. It's not something you just join any time, because I dedicate a period of time where I just work with the people that have joined, and we work as a group, and we get you moving. But we are going to do another intake later in the year. I imagine October, November. I haven't actually decided on it yet, but we will be doing another intake for sure.
Would this be the one that I went through the free challenge for it?
Yeah, so we do a 5-day challenge as well. We are going to do another 5-day challenge probably in January, and the 5-day challenge is all about you getting investors from social media in 5 days. So it's how to raise money from social media in 5 days, and we talk about all of the things from social proof, personal profiling, how to actually use social media platforms, all of these sorts of things, right through to the compliance piece, what you can and can't say online, like making sure you're protected. So the 5-day challenge is amazing. I love it. And it, like you say, it's free. And, most people learn enough from it that they actually don't need to buy training. But it's then if they want me to kick their bums to get stuff done after, like the implementation stuff, that's when people will join the strategy hub. But I do also work with people growing coaching companies, because obviously I've built a coaching company now. People come to me and say, how do I replicate what you've done? So we've got that. And then my investment fund is the other thing. So people that want to, I don't know if you realize, but I always had an experience of investment funds that you needed to have like 20, 50 grand to get involved. And I was never quite rich enough to get involved with that sort of thing. I always felt like it was a bit of a boys' club, and I wasn't really very welcome because I was always in my trainers and my jeans and my hoodie. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start my own. And so I did. And we've got a minimum deposit level of low thousands to help people to just get started investing, start to learn about how to invest in funds in a passive way alongside their property, alongside any other sort of business activities. I think it's important to diversify. And so the whole thing about Cogito is about helping you to get back in control of your money, grow whatever it is you want to grow, live a life you want to live, and create wealth for the future.
Brilliant. It sounds amazing. Ladies, any questions you have, please put them in the comments and we will happily answer. You had challenges. It says in your bio that you had challenges recruiting. I have challenges recruiting for my cleaning business for some reason. I think it's a mindset thing that comes from my childhood, because I don't have challenges recruiting for something else, and I'm not bad at recruiting, but just to start recruiting for me is like, again, another one. How did you improve your recruitment strategy, and how did you now have a team that works for you? You have a team that is directly employed by you, is that right?
Yeah, so I've got a combination of people that work for me, employed, and then the people who work with me as like contractors, suppliers. If I'm really honest, everybody pretty much at the moment who works in the businesses as a group have either been a client of mine before and have built their businesses so they then can become a supplier of the services they run, or they are like students of mine currently, and they want to be involved with the business and what we do and how we do it, and they actually want to be part of that, and we help them build their businesses alongside working with me. So there's a lot of that going on. I'm at the moment recruiting an operations manager for our education company, who is somebody that actually needs to be employed because they need to live and breathe this, so it wouldn't make sense for them to have a company as well. So there's a combination really. I find recruitment difficult because I wear my heart on my sleeve, and if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I find it really hard to understand why not everybody has that same rule, because that's just how I work. And so I've improved my recruitment process quite heavily by getting other people who know me well to do interviews alongside me, because I just trust that everyone will come and they'll do the thing. And I trust everyone. Like, I'm that kind of person. I just want to bring you under my wing and let's get going, right? What I've learned is that actually some people are just fucking amazing. Like, they just come in and they just do the job. And when you find those people, you want to keep those people because they're incredible. And you want to, I'm also aware that people that come and work for me, they're going to be surrounded by this all of the time. Of course, they're going to leave eventually, because they're going to be here being inspired to grow and to develop and to build businesses and live life on their terms, right? Anybody who has an employee mindset that just wants a 9 to 5 for the rest of their life probably isn't the right person for us. So I find it really hard because I want to empower those people to grow, but then I lose my team at the same time. But it's the right thing to do, to kind of just help people learn and grow and then let them fly the nest and then find a new person. But it's the reason why we end up recruiting again and again, because actually people have gone, I actually don't need you anymore, Sarah. I've got my own stuff going on. And that's super exciting, but difficult as a business owner because I have to keep recruiting.
I suppose this brings good energy in your life, because you're not there like thinking, oh, they can't see much of this because I want them to keep working for me. So it has like a boomerang effect where you see you sow a seed today and then it grows and it comes back to you. If you see the nice flower, it will come back and it will give you joy. If you put the weeds and God knows what spiky stuff, it will probably not be the same.
It's probably a little bit backwards, but I actually hope everybody who ever comes and works for me just fucks off eventually and leaves me, because it means I've done my job well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want people to live life the way that I live my life. You have to earn your stripes to be able to get there. Like, you have to learn how to do that, and you have to be around the right people and the people that want to drive you and support you and help you when things are going wrong and all that. But eventually there's a tipping point where you want to go, actually, you've done really well, you've built a business, and you know what, you don't need me anymore, so you go on and I'll just replace you. So yeah, it's I love that energy in the business, and everybody who ever comes and works here knows that from the start. Like, I know you're not going to stay forever, and I'm all right with that. It means that we've done a good job.
Do you have a preferred method of growing your money, of investing your money?
Preferred is an interesting one because it depends on my mood, and it depends on the underlying objective. So I guess my fund is one of my favorite because my money goes in it and I don't have to do anything. So I have a fund and I have a fund manager that manages that fund, and my money's in it, but also I've got clients that put their money in it as well. So we manage my portfolio, and my fund manager also manages on behalf of my clients as well. If anyone's interested in that, by the way, feel free to get in touch with me. I'd love to talk it through with you. I like that because I'm busy, and actually having another thing that's going to mean I have to work for my money, that's no good for me. I want to have a passive, to a degree, pot over here doing that thing. So the profit I make over here, it goes there, and I'm relying on compound interest over time. In 20 years time, I'll have my pension, because I don't have a pension right now, right? So that's one of my favorites. But that being said, I also love trading, like as in property. I like putting money into things, turning it into more, getting out, and then doing it again. So, but I have to work for that. I have to show up and be at work and manage the tradespeople and, you know, get the offers accepted and raise the money and all that. So that's my job, if you like. Once that job makes profit, it goes over there to be turned into more. And so I'm constantly churning this piece, which is then moving money over here to then turn that into more and make it work for me. So I love both. I will always do both until I can't be bothered to do this anymore, and maybe I'll do something else. Who knows?
So your fund is something like a big pot of money. If somebody comes to you tomorrow and says, I have £1,000, you give them interest. Is that right?
Well, it's not quite.
How does it work?
It's not like a loan where I invest your money. It would be, it's a fully regulated, proper investment fund. Their money would go into the fund. The money would obviously be protected. We guarantee 90% of the money, so it would then be traded on the currency markets, and it's between 1% and 2% a month is what I get on my money. I can't tell you what.
Yeah, of course.
Your money would be in where my money is, basically, and my fund manager then trades that on the currency markets.
I see. So it's used for something similar to Forex, am I right?
It's Forex, yeah.
It's Forex, okay, brilliant. Tell us 3 benefits that the property business brought to your life.
A very different bank balance. That's definitely one of them. It bought me a lot of very good friends. I mean, I've also worked with some wankers like that I absolutely don't want to work with ever again. But I feel like I've found my people in that. Even my clients, like the clients that I work with, the business partners that I have, I feel like I found the people that get me. And actually, before this world, I never quite fitted the box that everyone wanted of me. I never quite ticked all the right things, never did the right thing or said the right thing. I never looked the right way. and I never really knew who I was. I feel like from a human perspective, right, the money is kind of a consequence of doing a good job for people, right? We get paid as a consequence. I think who I am now, I like who I am. I'm proud of who I am. I feel like actually the way I show up to the world every day is something I can confidently say I'm happy with. And being in property and having a business has allowed me to discover who I am and what I want to contribute to the world. And obviously property is what the vehicle that got me there. So I think that's probably the biggest takeaway.
I have so you've rediscovered yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I never discovered myself in the first place. Like, I didn't know who I was when I was younger. Up until I was 30, I pretty much just spent my whole time drunk and in nightclubs. Like, I don't really remember much of my 20s, if I'm very honest with you. My low 30s, when I turned 30, all of a sudden I was just a bit more confident. I think most women, when they turn 30, it's like, actually, I'm not worrying about other people anymore. And then I'm told that when you get to 40, that's it, you're out. Like, no one, just do what you want to do, right? So my early 30s, I was still trying to figure it out, but also I felt like I was failing because my business wasn't going well, and I was trying to be this business person and everything I thought I should be.
The society is demanding.
Yeah, and I just didn't know what I was doing. And actually, when I started this business, I started to learn what it is that is important to me as a human being, and I realized that it's all right for me to be different to other people. And I realized that it's okay for me to have expectations at the levels that are right for me and boundaries that are right for me. And that's not selfish, although it is selfish, but selfishness is okay. And that's a massive benefit because I've learned to be confident in setting my own boundaries. I don't always get it right 100% of the time, but it's much better now than it was when I was much younger.
What advice should I give? Advice? Would you give advice?
On what?
What advice would you give to a woman that barely has £100 spare per month? What should she do with those money to grow them somehow?
So I think it depends on a few things, because I think if you've got debt and stuff like that, then you need to find a way to clear that first, because debt's expensive. Not only is it expensive financially, it's expensive mentally. Being in debt that you can't afford, or this creating stress in your life, it's just not worth having it, right? Property is absolutely something that I can advocate, because I got started in property with no money, and I really didn't have any money. I really did have to do a car boot sale for my furniture, right? There was no other money. That was it. We prioritize what is important to us. So the first thing I'd say to anyone that's only got £100 left at the end of the month is to go through your bank statements and really check whether that is it. Because when I went through my bank statements the first time and I had no money, I was still paying for Sky. I was still paying for a really expensive mobile phone. I was still I was still spending like £200 for a ticket to go out to a nightclub to see a DJ that I probably didn't need to go to because I'd seen him the following month. They're not essential spending. So I'd say before you start thinking about launching a business, take a step and just bird's eye look at your finances and actually what is the situation. And if you're not capable of doing that yourself savagely, go to a friend who you trust and say, go through my bank statement and highlight everything that you don't think is essential spending. Things like Sky, internet, essential. Sky box office, not essential. And if you're somebody that's saying, well, I've only got I've got less than zero every month, but you've still got all these things, that's fine. If that's what you want, that's totally fine. But you can't then complain, actually, you haven't got the £150 a month that it costs to get a mentor to help you build a business. Because actually you probably, and if you haven't got that, then you probably shouldn't be starting a business yet. You need to kind of just tick along and get those things fixed. Do whatever you can, right? Hustle, it's a shit word, but we prioritize what's important to us. And if it matters, you'll make the time. If it matters, you'll figure out a way.
Where are you going with your business? What's your, do you have an end goal, or It's just awesome to see how you have flourished over the 5-6 years, and it's like it's such a good energy to be talking to you and to spend time with you. And it's like people spend 3 minutes with you and they suddenly have grown. So where are you going? Tell us.
They're really kind words, and thank you for saying that. It means a lot. And in terms of where I'm heading, so I've got a goal to contribute 250 homes in 10 years from the day that I start my first development. That's my bigger goal. We're in legals at the moment with our first development. We're hoping, all going well, that we're going to build 11 passive houses, which is green, eco-friendly homes. So from the point we do that, 250 homes in 10 years is the goal. So before I'm 48, hopefully 250 homes. In terms of the rest of the businesses, I think for me, the education space, it's about impacting as many lives as I possibly can in a way that doesn't completely financially buckle them to do it. I think you don't need, if you've got 30 grand, don't spend it on training. I've said this once, but I'm going to say again, if you've got 20 grand, don't spend it on training. Like this, you just buy a house with it. Just don't spend it on training. You do need a mentor. You do need help. You do need advice. You do need a safety net. You do need a process, but there is actually ways that you can get those things without spending crazy money on it. I would encourage everybody to do as much research as they can on anyone, me included, right? Google me, go and check my reviews, do your due diligence on anyone that you're going to spend any money with ever. So in terms of the training side of things, I would really like to continue just impacting people's lives and seeing the results. And in terms of my personal life, I just want to carry on living a life that makes me happy. And then, for as long as it makes me smile, I'll do it. If it ever doesn't, I'll stop and I'll do something else. For me now, I want to make sure that my family are looked after. I've definitely got the nice things on my list as well. Like I'd like an Aston Martin for my 40th, those sorts of things. But we'll see what happens. I don't really know, in truth. I never thought I'd be here. If you'd have said to me 5 years ago that what I'd be doing right now would be my life, I'd have laughed at you. There would have been no way. And I don't really, if I look back, I don't really know how I've got here, but I'm here, and for as long as I'm here, I'll embrace it and enjoy it and do the best I can to contribute good shit to the world.
Any questions, ladies? Do you have any questions? We would happily answer. Everybody in the comments is so grateful for you sharing your journey. Yeah, I love auction. I don't know how I got here. I do know how I got here, but in January, this is like a few months ago, if you would have said to me, we were actually talking in my, I was doing a money course with the lovely Fanny Snaith, and we were talking about bridging loan, and I was like, no, I'm not going for a bridging loan. No. I would go for a bridging loan in any second. So I know how I got here, but if somebody was to tell me you'll have this and that in 6 months, it will be like, no. Okay, let's check who you're talking about. And what's your experience with auction? What do you like it? Do you buy at auction?
Great question. I am a very competitive human being. So I actually don't trust myself particularly well to go in an auction and actually bid against people, because I probably would forget my place and forget my top limit and be like, no, I'm having it over that guy. I'm winning, right? I like to win. I like to succeed. It's ingrained in me. So instead of auctions, I target unsold auctions, and I've always done unsold auction work. So on most of the auction houses, you can pull up the unsolds list, so everything that didn't sell, and I just send targeted marketing to those. Did your house fail to sell at auction? It's literally what my leaflet says, and on the back it says, I want to buy it, here's my number. And I find that helps me buy from auction at the right prices that are good, but in a way that I don't get carried away with my trigger fingers bailing my money out the door. Like, that is.
I'm probably not as competitive as you are, because I do stop at auction at a certain level, but the hubby did say that it's not safe for me to be left alone at home on auction day. He's like, it's way safer to leave a toddler by themselves at home rather than you by yourself on an auction day.
I love that.
Yeah, so here I am. And so you don't go to auction.
I like unsold auction lots. I also quite like working with agents. Again, I know that's a bit controversial at the minute because most agents are really difficult to work with, but I quite like building relationships with people, and I get quite a lot of people just call me now with, we've got this house, do you want to come and look at it? I think as well as I've built the education company, a lot of my clients find opportunities that they either can't fund or they don't know what to do with. So what I pride myself on is actually I do a lot of deals with my clients. Like I put my money where my mouth is a lot. And actually that's because I know they've done it right. So why wouldn't I put my money in their deals over anyone else's? Because we can both win then. And so a lot of my clients actually bring a lot of properties to me now. I think it just depends where you're at. Like you can do really clever stuff with Facebook advertising now. There's all sorts of ways to get deals. But what I'd say is you can sometimes overwhelm yourself by trying to do everything, when in fact choose one thing, you choose one method of marketing, play with it for a minute, see if it works or doesn't work for you, and then test something else and test something else and test something else. Try not to spend ridiculous amounts of money on stuff that you don't have any idea what you're doing. Start with the basics and go from there.
Brilliant, we'll do that. What would you like to leave us with? How can we come and work with you? Would you like us to come and work with you?
Of course, absolutely. Everybody, I'd love everyone to come work with me. Absolutely. Also, this is a female only group, right? And yeah, we're pretty female heavy. Whilst I do work with clients who are men, we're pretty female heavy, because I think because I'm a woman. We're also the whole team of women. There's accidentally, not on purpose, but everybody that works with me is a girl as well. Apart from the coaches, we've got male coaches. My mindset coach is a woman, my fitness coach is a woman, my assistant's a woman, our customer experience person's a woman, my content creator is a woman. Like we're a pretty strong female team over here. And what that obviously from a female perspective, it's important to understand that you're in safe hands, right? We get it, we understand it. We understand what it's like to be a wife that's also trying to build a business with a husband that doesn't get it. Like we understand all this stuff. And so, yeah, I'd love to work with anybody, whether it's from an investment fund perspective, whether it's from, accountability and implementation perspective, whether you just want to talk to me about what free stuff I've got that you can watch online, just reach out to me. Like we've got a £10 rent to rent bundle that's got a 2-hour rent to rent training and 13 rent to rent documents. It's a tenner. Like I think those sorts of things are super powerful for you to grow your businesses. And so, yeah, reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. I am Sarah Poynton is my Instagram name. I'm on Facebook. You've got my name on here, Sarah Poynton Ryan. And if you want to email the company, you're welcome to. It's just learn@Cogito. I'll put it in the comments on here, cogito-wealth.co.uk. But I'm around. Google me. You'll be able to contact me somehow.
Thank you ever so much for your time today. It was amazing. We look forward to learning more from you and working with you. I'm pretty sure many ladies will get in touch simply because most of the ladies that are in the group, they are looking to work with ladies. We had a presentation at some point about financial freedom and it was done by a man and you could see the difference like immediately. I was like, oh, cool. That's why I need to find a woman next time. Thank you so much, Sarah, and all the success with your journey, so you can inspire us, so we can follow in your steps.
Listen, thank you so much for having me. And I guess just parting words, like anybody who's thinking about going and doing, thinking about taking the plunge, thinking about going and doing anything that's going to be hard, just do it, because life with regret is just not worth it. Honestly, just go and give it a whirl. We all get it wrong sometimes. We all suck at some stuff. Like we're all absolutely terrible at some things. You'll be great at some things. And so just find the piece in the jigsaw puzzle that you're good at and learn how to outsource the rest, and you will live a brilliant lifestyle, right? you're enough, you're capable, and you totally can. So just go out and smash it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Bye for now.
See ya.